40.
39.
Number 1.
39.
38.
37. 36.
35.
34.
33.
32.
31.
30. 29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
21.
20.
19.
18.
17. 16.
15.
14.
13.
12.
11. 10.
9. 8.
7. 6. 5.
4.
3.5.
3.
2.
1.
Hey, Rocky, you want to see me pull a show out of my hat? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Good evening and welcome to the Mouthwash Talk Show, a minty fresh take on politics. And wow, we have an all-star lineup tonight for sure. I mean, I know I always say that, but tonight we have four gentlemen that are running for the U.S. House of Representatives. And as the thing said there, taking it to the House. Why would anyone want to go to Washington? I don't know, but these brave souls, they say they want to go. In fact, they're running against a bunch of other people, which makes me believe that it must be very easy to run for the House of Representatives because a lot of people do it. You don't have to get signatures or anything like that. But, if you win, you got to run every 2 years. So it seems like it'd be campaigning your entire life away doing these things. But so tonight we're going to have our first set is going to be the Indiana House District 6. And that's going to be Jamison Carrier and John Jacob. And Jamison won the coin toss, basically picked the number better than his competitor. And he will come on first, and then we'll have John, and then we'll go to Larry, and then we'll go to Mark Hurt, and we'll have them on. First, I want to say, hey, if you caught our show last Friday with, it was a live interview with Jamie Rittenauer. It was pretty cool. We had other podcasters, a couple other ones come on, Watson Prunier and Josh Cummings came on with me, and we asked questions, and it was pretty cool. We actually had doing some imitations at the end. That was pretty funny. But so one thing, I got my Bring Suzanne Home shirt on tonight. And they're probably wondering, what in the heck is that? But if you were listening to the news today, of some of the news, they were talking about an Indiana woman that was found dead out in Colorado. And the autopsy results have come back on her that she was tranquilized and is ruled a homicide. And well, you have to listen to the story how I'm involved with something of that thing, not the tranquilizer, not the woman, but with her husband on a job site. You'll just have to tune in for that. There's more to come there. But tonight we have a great show. You're going to get to know some of these candidates a little bit better. I would say the mainstream media doesn't cover things like we do. We like to make everybody look the best they can, ask them questions to, test them a little bit. And it usually turns out to be a pretty good thing. So if you have any questions for these candidates, fire them up there. We're going to give them about 15, 20 minutes each. So I'll try to get a question in there if it's a good one and all that. And it looks like the whole cast is back there. So tonight we're going to start out with Mark Small and Small Talk. And I've not listened to it, so this will be a first for everyone. I just downloaded it and put it in the hopper here, and here we go. Mark Small. And then we'll have Jamison Carrier on the other side.
Hi, I'm Mark Small. This is Small Talk. There's been talk in this country and the community and everything of the possibility of a dictatorship taking control of this country by the end of 2024. It's in that context that I can look at the four candidates that John Schmitz is having on Mouthwash this evening. They're all Republicans. Two are in the 6th Congressional District, winning their party's nominations. First of all, Mark Hurt. He would deter crime with enhanced criminal penalties, but also would stop funding ineffective programs. You know what? That works because mass incarceration hasn't. So that would be an ineffective program. We could eliminate that by just legalizing drugs, tax them, and go from there. Larry Savage Jr. couldn't figure out what his policy positions were between all the photos of Trump and Micah Beckwith. Enough said. John Jacob. John is running in the 6th. To summarize, John says it's not her body, it's not her choice. Got it? Go on. Jamison Carrier, he would have fentanyl declared a new weapon of mass destruction. No, actually, people aren't doing fentanyl because they want fentanyl. It's because they don't know what it is that they're doing. If you legalize drugs, you have controls, you end those problems completely. The worst problem was that I could see with all the candidates was embracing a phrase, America first. The history of that phrase goes into fascism. By the 1920s, it was used by people who supported Mussolini and Hitler, not just kind of like, no, they supported them. That's not a good phrase to use. Now, if people are going to want a dictatorship, please spare me any song and dance about freedom and democracy and the Constitution. No, if you want a dictatorship, that's not freedom and that's not democracy. So if these 4 candidates' views represent what the Republican Party is going to have in the general election in November, they're so repugnant that we might be able to avoid a dictatorship. Mark Small talk.
Wow, I think he was an equal opportunity hazer there on that one. So, the fentanyl thing is a lot closer to home than maybe Mark just sort of tongue-in-cheeked it off there. I know your story with that. In fact, I had a friend of mine have a similar situation and had asked me how he could get involved, him and his wife could get involved with you because you are on that. But anyway, Jamison, welcome to the show. Thanks for being a brave soul tonight. I know you're at other meetings and there's only a week or so to go left before things happen. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and why the heck you're running.
Yes, sir, John. Thanks for having me on the show. And yeah, I've never ran for office before. I'm an outsider. I'm a businessman, and I grew up in Richmond here in the district and live in Greenwood today. I am running because I love our country. I want to make a difference. And our border, it's the #1 issue. And here we are 1,000 miles away from it. And my wife and I have been personally impacted by the border. As you already mentioned, we lost a son to fentanyl poisoning. And it is a very serious issue. It's more than 300 per day that we're losing. 300 per day. And it's coming directly from the Chinese into Mexico. They're bringing it across an open border that Biden has left wide open. And that gives me reason to run. Obviously, there are a lot of issues that we're concerned about, but that certainly fuels my passion.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of folks don't know that you can just touch fentanyl and it can kill you. I mean, it's not a matter of just mishandling it. It's a dangerous situation. And we're sorry for your loss and we're sorry for anyone. But I guess there's one a day in Indiana that basically pass away from fentanyl poisoning or fentanyl overdose. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and bring on the panel. Hopefully Brad's ready. And I do see one point of interest here. Mark, I see you back there. You will be on in a little bit because it looks like he's scrambling to get back there. So we'll probably give you'll probably be able to 9:30. You got a little break until about 9:30. Then we're going to have you and Larry come on. So just wanted to let you know that because as Jamison witnessed behind the backstage stuff, sometimes is a little chaotic. I think a lot of folks think, well, they script the show and they practice and everything. Heck, we don't talk to each other each week. They get on about 2 till and we just fire this thing up. And I think that's why a lot of folks like it. It's not rehearsed and it's not as polished as some of the new stuff, but we do get some good questions asked. Speaking of, let's bring on Brad here. Let's get this thing going here. Hey, Brad, how are you this evening?
I'm pretty good. I got to watch my boys in a play this weekend. They were in Willy Wonka. One of them was an Oompa Loompa, and one of them was Grandpa Joe.
I want to be Veronica. I want a golden goose.
Oh, the girl who played her, she did a great job too. She really sold that role.
I think there's a lot more kids like that than there are like Charlie. So anyway, hey, Lucy Brenton, how are you this evening?
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm doing amazing. And Brad, this is like so crazy, but in 6th grade, my son, who is now 24 next month, he was Grandpa Joe when his
that's crazy.
Yeah, when his school in Fishers. Yeah,
just one point of interest on Grandpa Joe. Typical. So the dude is infirmed for how long, and then mysteriously, he's okay. Nobody ever talks about that how that worked out, but Yeah, you know.
Adrenaline, it's a wonderful
the
drug.
spirit took him over, you know.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was the spirit. And they were, how would you like to be with never mind. We got plenty to talk about here with Jamison. So I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Lucy. Let's go ahead and get this started because we gotta keep it rolling here. So go ahead, ask a question, ask away.
You know, it's awesome when you've got somebody like yourself that is an outsider and a business person, so you actually understand, you know, ROI and value and things like that. What do you think, from an economic perspective, is the first thing, the most important thing that you'll attack if you're elected?
Yeah, so from being in business my whole career, I've seen the impact that the government has on business and directly on the economy. You know, Ronald Reagan once said that prosperity is something that business owners and businessmen create for the government to take credit for. The fact is, it's the business leaders that go out, they take the risk. And unfortunately, what we've seen way too many times in government is regulations that restrict our business. And so I've witnessed it personally in our business where, you know, the government comes in, puts regulations in place that all it does is stop business. There's no way to estimate exactly what it is, but red tape is estimated to be somewhere around $90 billion a year that it costs businesses. So it is the government's job to protect us, but we've taken it too far. We've got regulations in place that stop us. What we know is this: when we tax less and we regulate less, the economy grows.
Wow, good answer. And I speaking for myself in construction, I know that some OSHA things that we have to do are silly, and also some erosion control things like putting silt fence on the top of a hill, you know, type of things. It's just a waste of the environment, or, you know. So
can I interject something here, John? I mean, Jamison, you actually sound very libertarian in everything that you say. Can I get you to say the ultimate thing? Taxation is theft. Do you believe that taxation is theft, or at least extortion?
Well, so I will pass. How many passes did you say I get on that, John?
Yeah. Well, you can just say one question, Lucy. One question.
Got to answer what Brad says.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm real big about.
Hey, Brad, ask him if taxation is theft.
So, Lucy, when you were showing me the L earlier, what you weren't calling me a loser, you were saying you're libertarian. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
She will, Jamison. She will.
No, I was trying to point to him. I wasn't calling you loser. And I so regret before the show when you were called the wrong name, because you're like much better looking and just so nicer than that other guy. And I won't name him.
Now it's stuck in my head. I'll do it again on the air. It's gonna be terrible. So
I almost left right then. I don't know how that happened. But I did stick around. So we'll give you one more chance, John, to call me by the right name.
I'm not gonna go ahead, Brad.
Well, you were talking about government regulations in business. What are your views on government regulations regarding personal choices? You know, with body, with, you know, purchases.
Just go ahead and say it, Brad. Abortion.
No, I mean guns. Like
guns.
Like
okay.
And purchases too. Like, I mean, like, I feel like how much government is involved in your life. You know, that kind of, why is it okay for them to regulate this, regulate that? But, you know,
yeah, well,
I see it all as kind of one. So I just,
yeah, I think that our government has gotten way too big, and this impacts our economy in another way, in the fact that we are spending way too much money in the federal government. We've got agencies, we've got the fourth branch of government now, which was never intended to be, the bureaucrats. Who are creating rules and fining people for not following them. There should only be 3 branches of government. And so, yeah, we're at a place now where they're trying to regulate everything, and we don't need regulations. We should be able to make decisions of, you know, again, here's what we need from the government. We need communication. Let us understand what the risk is. Take COVID as an example. Don't necessarily want to bring that up, but let me know what the risk is, and let me decide whether or not I should get a vaccine. It's not the government's place to decide how much risk we're willing to take, especially when it impacts us personally.
Yep. So
does that carry over into other choices?
Yeah, let me just say, yeah, because you mentioned the
Such
Second
as
Amendment.
abortion, I guess.
Yeah, let me. You mentioned the Second Amendment. 100%. There's nothing we need to do to change the Second Amendment. And look, I was raised hunting. I went out. Some of my greatest memories as a kid was hunting with my dad. We spent a lot of great time together. I'm grateful for that. But I think we need to remember why the Second Amendment was in there. And the reason it's there is because our founders wanted us to be able to protect ourselves from tyranny. That's why it's there. That's why it's important. We don't need to change it.
Well, you're making friends with Lucy already. That's always a good thing on this show because you never know. So, Jamison, what do you do for a living? What is your real job, so to speak? Because we're supposed to be part-time legislators, not like full-time like they are now. But anyway.
Yep. So I'm in the RV industry. I've been in the RV industry for most of my career on the retail side. So working in RV dealerships.
Yep. Do you know Ken Eckstein?
Eckstein?
Eckstein, yeah.
Absolutely.
I just got done bricking his house up at Geist. He's a nice guy, Southsider, good, solid conservative guy. So
Ken is a great man. Yeah, I think the world of him.
Yeah, I tried to talk him into being a precinct committeeman, but we had somebody in that precinct. Anyway, I digress. So let's go. I'm going to give one more, and then your time's up already, Jamison. We got to keep rolling here, but let's do one. Lucy, since you're going to probably try to convert him over to libertarian, I'll let you have another question.
Actually, this has to do exactly with what you're doing with the RV industry, Jamison. So recently, in the past few years, my daughter bought a tiny house from another gal who had built it herself. So it had, the registration that came along with the underlying trailer, but the dwelling part on top didn't have a registration sticker. In other words, she had not, through the building process, paid any sort of tax. So she didn't have the magic sticker. As a result, she was forced off the property that we own and told that if they did not remove the tiny home, that they would start charging us $250 per day. Now, this really made me mad because we've got 3 acres, we've got a neighbor in between, got another 3 acres. My grandchildren were on that land. So as a representative, somebody who's been in the RV industry on the retail side, what do you have to say about the fact that a sticker that has been lobbied for and required in order to suppress people like us from having our own dwellings and building our own dwellings has affected my daughter in such a way? And my grandkids, by the way, are now an hour and a half away instead of 450 feet away. I'm pretty ticked about this.
Well, at least you should have a little bit of peace and quiet if they're an hour and a half away. What's your daughter's name?
My oldest daughter is Jasmine. I have 10 children, so
Jasmine.
I crave chaos. I do not crave peace and quiet.
You do crave chaos, yeah. So here's what I would say. Tiny homes are great. RVs are better. I think she would have been better off. It would have probably saved her money. She'd have had something that was better quality built and would not have had any issues with the regulation if she had just bought an RV.
So
she could have bought it from John's friend, Ken Eckstein.
Yeah.
You know what? I am so obsessed with like tiny houses and tiny life. And I'm a schoolie person myself. I would love to do a schoolie. But I think what you just told me, and I've got to pick on you a little bit here because I like you so much on every other way, especially with the gun thing. You just told me to go along to get along, to take the easiest pathway that has been set before me by industry, by the collusion of industry and government. So.
Well, what I really told you was I'm from the RV industry and I'm trying to get a little help here. Buy an RV.
Yeah, we can. The salesman.
No, I can't fault you that. I'm a salesman too.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I serve homeless folks, and we Saturday night I go out with Tad Griffin, Hearts and Hands. We go to the camps, and there's some janky stuff that people are living in, and and in fairness, our cost of living has gone so high that not everybody can afford it. And so I would think that, living is something like Lucy described would be better than under a park bench or down in a van by the river type of thing. So, but I see what you're saying, Jamison. If you're of means, then buy that because you can license it, you can haul it, you can, legally take it. It's probably safer. You're probably right about that. Lucy.
Another important observation about my daughter buying that home and being able to get seller financing. She found a lady that she was able to negotiate a very large down payment of 30% and then pay the gal off. Importantly, banks did not make any money in that. And I'm not going to go into the whole property tax situation, what happened after we placed the tiny house there, but it's even more egregious. So thank you for your service in the RV industry. I love watching tiny house videos. It's like a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a phenomenon on how that stuff has evolved. So Jamison, we're going to give you a last word here, and then we're going to be on to our next guest. So you got another week left. Go fight, win.
Yeah, we're excited. Yeah, thanks for having us on, John. Really appreciate it. The only thing I would say is get out and vote. This is the time. Whoever's chosen in this primary is more than likely going to win in November. So your vote matters. Everybody needs to get out and vote by May 7th.
Yeah, I was at the polling station this week at Thatcher, which is early voting first day. We had total both days about 120 people. That is, so get out and vote, you bunch of lazy bums. Oh, that was me, not you talking there, Jamison. So we thank you for coming on, and good luck. And whoever wins out of this fiasco, we want them to come back on the show. So I think you made it through Lucy's questions fairly unscathed. So, and then Brad, he's a pushover Democrat. He's not going to push you too hard. So yeah.
No.
So all right.
I'm just here for to even it out.
So all right. Thanks, Jamison. We are going on. Let's see. We'll catch you later. Let's see. Let's go ahead and bring on John. Let's put him up here so we get it all the same. Okay. All right, John Jacob, Congress District 6 candidate. How are you this evening?
I'm doing better than I deserve, John. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. I've been hearing your commercials on the radio and whatnot. So tell our viewers that may or may not know you a little bit about yourself and why the heck you're running. Oh, wait, I think I got Tiffany coming on. So John, while you're talking, Tiffany may be coming in here. So.
Okay. All right. Well, so anyway, I'm John Jacob. I'm running for Congress through District 6. I'm a born again Christian. I'm really distressed at the way our country's going. I think we're going down into a black hole. I think that there are things going on in our nation that we would have never thought about happening right now. So, 20 years ago, I don't think we would have seen those things. So I personally, no offense, Mark, but I think it's the left that's dragging us there. But Mark, I think you'd be happy about this. I think it's the Republicans that are really at fault here. I think it's the establishment swamp that has allowed the left to just drag us in there. I think you just said it. You said the go along to get along. The go along to get along mentality, the good old boy of the Republican establishment swamp is what is like cancer. It is destroying our nation. They refuse to pull to the right as strong as the left is pulling to the left. So I want a free America. I want an America going forward that's free. And, the one I grew up in and even better for my kids and my grandkids.
Yeah, he came out firing, didn't he, Brad? Brad, go ahead.
Roe versus Wade was just overturned, and you're trying to say that the left has somehow that much pull? How?
Well, abortion is still going on in this nation, Brad. Bottom line is that do you realize that the Guttmacher Institute came out with their numbers on abortion in 2023? They are higher than they ever have been since 2012.
It's more about just the choice, though. To me, it's not. It's the same thing as the government telling you what to do on a lot of issues.
I think that everything that's within the boundaries of the Constitution is fine. But when we're talking about life, it is the government's role to protect. And that means all life, preborn and born. Human life begins at conception. Indiana law says that. Biology upholds that. The Bible upholds that. I know that some people don't adhere to what the Bible has to say, but biology clearly says that human life begins at conception. And with that, human life is worthy to be protected.
There you go.
I got to give my full endorsement. I've given birth to 10 human beings. And John, one of the things I love about you so much and why I support you so much is because you take no prisoners. You will not allow anyone to compromise on this issue. You are either for murder or you're for protection. There really is no in between.
Right.
Well, and I would say to go as far as, John had voted no on an abortion bill because it didn't go far enough, and his opposition used it against him because, he's that principled in what you just said, Lucy. So, John.
Can I comment on that, John?
Oh, yes. That's all I was just getting ready to say.
So I like to tell people, they like to say it's a pro-life bill with exceptions. I differ on that. I greatly differ on that. It is an abortion bill with exceptions, is what it is.
Yeah, and I think it's basically a compromise, but I think that it basically made everyone mad. Made the people that were
and
it
nobody
made everybody mad.
Nobody that testified against that, nobody testified on that bill was for it. Everyone was against it. Was how it was written. Even like, so everybody was on the same page, and they still passed it.
The Republicans, we had the legislation on the floor for abolishing abortion that we have been pushing for. Kurt Isley and myself, we finally got it out there. All these pro-life Christian legislators, the Go Along to Get Along Club, and out of 71 House Republicans, 6 of us voted for it. Kurt Isley, myself, and 4 other guys. Other than that, the entire crew, they voted against abolishing all abortion. And all the while they campaigned on it for years and years because they never banked on Roe versus Wade being overturned.
Yeah, and that happened. I think a lot of people were shocked. So, you would be considered an outsider. I don't think I'm going out on a limb on that one.
No.
Do you, one of the things I noticed is there's a lot of people that are tired of the mainstream, the swamp, whatever you want to call it, the establishment, they're tired of are you sort of noticing that as well?
Rephrase the question again, John.
As far as the general public, the voting people, the people you talk to, are you sensing a frustration with the status quo? I guess we'll just call it the status quo.
Oh yeah, I mean, the establishment loves to keep power. The Republican establishment swamp wants to keep power, but I'm finding that the average Republican is getting fed up. They are so done with the establishment swamp. And when we use the word outsider when we're talking about swamp and establishment, outsider is that's just kind of I don't even know what kind of term that really is. Anti-establishment swamp, that's what we're talking about. I'm the only person in this race that is anti-establishment. You don't have your own party come after you with over $660,000 to come at you, if you will, with a political baseball bat. There are people that I've talked with that are sickened. They are sickened by what the establishment swamp did to me. Now, I'm not trying to get the sympathy on that side of it, but all I'm saying is they want somebody who's going to really defend for we the people. That's why I'm running. I'm running for we the people to get a government that.
Oh, he froze. Is he frozen with you guys too?
Did I lose you?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's coming back. There you go. You're back now. He's back. Okay. Well, and I would say, you have one of the most, you're there. You have one of the most interesting races with just the amount of competition and the different texture, that you have. It is, it's too crazy to call. Can you see us okay, John? He's frozen. At least he got frozen in a good, there you are. You're back again.
Okay. Yes.
I may have you, I was going to say come back in and come back out.
Oh man!
But it's frozen. Yeah, do that. Go ahead and go back in and come back out, and we'll talk amongst our stuff. Is that better? Your internet must be wonky. Yeah, he's freezing here. Let me see.
Wait, why did they spend? Who spent $660,000?
They spent 500,000. Let's see. There we go.
The Republican Party has been against John Jacob and Kurt Isley because they're the only two that truly have worked together to try and free Hooters from being literal slaves. I mean, John and Kurt are the only ones who truly understand the situation. I respect them running as Republicans because if they ran as libertarians, well, first of all, they might have an issue with, because I have an issue with a lot of libertarians on the pro-choice issue. But the fact of the matter is John and Kurt are the only ones who have consistently worked to free you from the matrix.
Yeah. So
everybody else is just sucking at the teat.
Yeah. So Brad, I'll give you a little history lesson here in this. So Kurt Isley was the original guy. He gets in. He makes a motion. He never had anybody to second it. Well, John Jacob comes along. He gets elected, and then he has somebody that can second it. So then it has to go to the floor. Then these guys have to vote on it or have to deal with it, and then they have it on their record. And they really didn't like that. And it showed by when they tried. So they picked another candidate and funded that candidate to the tune of $500,000, and John goes away. Is that pretty accurate, John? If you're not frozen,
it was over $660,000 from the House Republican campaign committee.
Yeah, there you go. So what do you think
that
about
would feed a lot of poor, starving children. These Republicans have no heart.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Brad? Democrats aren't even that heartless, are they?
No, they're not.
You know what's funny?
Chalk another one up for the Republicans. You know,
I got to say this. I did have one of the Democrats that I a lot better than I did the Republicans. But I had a Democrat come over to me after he voted on a property tax bill to reduce property tax. And he said to me, with the Republicans, he said, they're hypocrites. They say they're pro-life, but they don't really fight on this issue. You and Kurt do.
I think that's a Republican.
That's what a Democrat told me. I said, Ryan, you are spot on.
Yeah,
you're
well,
wrong.
And I think that a lot of things are just help me. I need to do what I need to do to get reelected and that type of thing. And in the House of Representatives, you're every 2 years, so it's always a battle, I'm sure, to try to stay relevant and try to stay on top of things. So I think if we got, let's see if I can add it back.
I pray that it would come back on. I don't know what's going on.
There you go. You're back. So let's wind it up, because I think that we're losing your feed. It's sometimes the internet gets wonky and all that. That's what's so great about live TV on our great budget that we have here. So John, go ahead and wind it up for us. Give us your parting comments. And we do thank you for coming on the show. I know this is your third time, I believe, for being on, and we appreciate your willingness in the past to come on. And we're wishing you luck in your race. Another
Thank
week.
You, John. I'm the only proven constitutional anti-establishment conservative, and based on what we talked about here, I think that I can prove with that in this race, to me, I mean, I could go through a lot more. I think that they're compromised in various ways, and I don't mean to be rude to them. And we need somebody who's going to go to Washington, D.C. to fight. And that's what I believe that the people want. They want conservatism and narrow things up to what is really within the boundaries of the Constitution. I think that's what the average Republican really wants. And, and the bottom line is that, also, I do want to say, I am endorsed by U.S. Congressman Thomas Massie. I'm the only person in this race that is endorsed by Congressman Thomas Massie, who was also endorsed by Senator Rand Paul.
All right. Well, so it sounds like you already got some boots on the ground at that level. So that can help, I would say. So again, we thank you for coming on tonight, and good luck. It's very interesting races. I've never seen primary races so contested with, like I said, such a different texture of the folks you have running there in the 6th district. So thanks for coming on, John, and good luck.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right, we're going to have Larry come on here in a second. Just want to give him a little warning, because, and I see Mark still it looks like he may be outside, and Tiffany is still running around. So it looks like if you're from Hamilton County, you must have to run around a lot to get home. I know it's all those roundabouts.
Those roundabouts.
Yeah, it is. It's the roundabouts. They're just probably still going around in there. So I'm going to bring Larry on here. Hey, Larry, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm good. Hey, thanks for your patience tonight, and Mark, you as well. We'll have you on here just shortly. But Larry, hey, I remember you now. I know that when we talked up at Micah Beckwith's little outing there, so now I do remember you. It's like a lot of names, a lot of faces. I'm old, I can't remember a lot of times. So, so Larry, how you doing tonight? Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and why the heck you're running.
Well, I'm doing pretty well. I'm running because I think that it's time for average Americans to step up and fight for their country. I'm 50 years old, and I'm telling you what, I'm sick of the crap that's going on in Washington, D.C. I'm tired of what our Congress lady, Victoria Sparks, is doing, and she's quit on us, and she wants to come back and do nothing. I don't know what she's got left to accomplish. I don't think she's accomplished much. I'm just here to fight for the everyday person. I wish you didn't have to claim you're Republican or you're Democrat. I just wish you could claim, I'm an American and I want to do the right thing by the people always. And we've made some headway here. I don't have the kind of money that my competitors have, like Mark and Max and Chuck and Victoria. I mean, I don't have that kind of money, but I tell you what, we've made some headway. I've got a lot of people that are reaching out to me. I mean, we may slip in there and do some damage. So hopefully that happens. But
well, it's one of the questions I asked John Jacob was, I mean, do you find, I'm finding that there's a lot of people that are just, like you just said, sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. And how can I get involved? We're getting people involved at the precinct level and the state delegate level. And, but you took it a step further than that. And, you're just out there, I love your last name, Savage. I think that's what you're going to do out there in DC. You're going to go savage on those people.
Well, absolutely. I'm running for PC also. I'm on the ballot 3 times. I'm running for PC and I'm running for state delegate. We got to get guys like Michael Beckwith. We got to get them in. Maybe hopefully as lieutenant governor. We just got to get some of the people there. I know. I'm sorry, Brad. You're shaking your head.
Yeah, man.
He's got some history with Mr.
Well, you got some history with him. I like the guy. I'm actually going to be at his church this weekend. All 3 services. Talking about my journey in life and giving my testimony. But that's the good thing about politics. You can hate somebody and I can like him. I can like somebody that you hate. And, we kind of.
I'm really hoping he doesn't ever get into a position of power, which is kind of where that's headed.
What's your concerns with it? Tell me.
That will become even a more conservative kind of dictator state where people aren't allowed to do. Like, okay, so
Footloose. We're going to turn into Footloose.
Yeah. Yes.
So
that's how I feel. Okay. Because apparently, like, when I hear John too, like talking about how it hasn't been conservative enough, I'm like, what? Like,
well,
it needs to be more conservative. This is okay.
All right.
I think we need to go more in the middle. But
I'm more of they've got me listed in some of these like voter. They got me as a moderate Republican. I guess because I'm okay with legalizing marijuana. I'm okay with that kind of stuff. I'm the abortion thing. As far as it's rape or incest or a medical issue, I'm okay with it. But I believe totally it's murder. If you go outside and you have sex with somebody and you have unprotected sex. I mean, you got to pay the piper. I mean, me and my wife did 3 times, right? I have 3 kids; they're all grown. So I totally believe that you go out and do that. You got to pay the consequences, and you got to raise them kids. You got to raise them to be good kids.
Yeah, everybody gets a chance, right? So Lucy, he's for the marijuana, and so that must mean he's a libertarian, right?
No, unfortunately, I doubt that Larry has the extreme freedom stance that I do on drugs. I've got, it's so funny because my buddy Mark, he does his, he does his recording for us. He's only half right. And I don't know why he can't get it all right if he gets half right this week and half right next week, but it's completely 100% accurate on the drug issue. Drugs should be completely legal. I mean, if you believe that you want safety, then the answer to that is to have drugs that are legal, that go through a vetting process, that are, scientifically formulated instead of, the kind of, I think they call it like the Nazi method where they're putting gasoline and like gas cans making meth. I don't know how that. I don't know how that works.
They invented the meth. That's why they called it blitzkrieg because the soldiers were on meth.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah,
so
very interesting.
I'm in property management, right? So I have several hundred. They're not mine. I work for somebody. So this is a scary thing. Last Friday, a lady that rented off of me, she had methamphetamines and she dropped them into my parking lot. And we went back to the cameras and we found them in the parking lot. So I seen where she had dropped them. So I went to her apartment. I said, hey, you dropped these. I'm making a police report. If you have any more drugs, I would like to get them out of here. Well, she proceeds to take me back into a room and she gives me another bag of methamphetamines. Well, she handed them to me. So I didn't even think about it. But as I'm walking back to my office, I started getting tunnel vision. My ears started ringing, and I'm on the ground. My maintenance guy has to go and Narcan me. First time ever in my life. I used to be a paramedic EMT. I had to be Narcan. The fentanyl, there was actually traces of fentanyl on the packages she gave me. And I spent a night in the hospital just last Friday because it was the first time in my life. So, I mean, I'm against drugs like that. And it's ruining our city. Anderson has been ruined by fentanyl. I did CPR 2 months ago. I used to be a paramedic. I'm sitting at a stoplight, and I hear homeless by the homeless camp. We were down there giving canned food away to people that were homeless, and I hear 3 men yelling for help. I get to the park where they're at, and a man's on his knees laid up against the picnic table. I pull him down, and he's in respiratory arrest. He's just barely breathing. Open his airway, call for paramedics to come, and he ended up passing away from fentanyl. So
yeah, it's what we talked
bad.
about. It's what we talked about with Jamison. It's like I know somebody that just like you just touched it, and people don't understand how dangerous it is.
Making things illegal is what creates the
Makes
profits in
danger,
the black
yeah.
market.
Right.
Nobody is
Yeah.
popping aspirin, and
Right.
killing themselves at the picnic table.
Well, here's
And
a new thing. So we have at our art center, we have a new Narcan box. We have where you can get a Narcan thing. Well, the new thing is you go ahead and do overdose on purpose and then get Narcan back. So they're not taking it, it's that ultimate high. Yeah, for the experience. Yeah.
are they trying to have NDEs or something? We should have a whole show on NDEs.
If I could figure out how that stuff works, I could be a rich
Near-death
person
experience,
and I could
yeah.
save a lot of people, but I don't. I see it every day in my neighborhood. And Larry, I know that Anderson, Kokomo, a lot of small towns have been ravaged by this type of a thing. So obviously that's going to be something you're going to be
I'm going to fight against that. I will never think fentanyl or methamphetamines should be legalized. I just totally disagree with that. That is and I understand what you're saying. If they legalize it, then people, But,
Larry, what about
it's already legal. It's legal if you have certain licenses, and it's legal if you get permission. But see, the problem once again is that the state is standing in the way of freedom. And so,
what about the help for the people that do it, anyways, like the mental
at
health,
least decriminalize it.
I mean, I feel like, is that something that you'd be more in favor,
of decriminalizing what? Of the you talking about the harder stuff?
You were pro
everything.
Well, I'm not saying decriminal, because that is kind of, that's like something out of like one of those dystopian novels.
So I'm good with I'm good with the medicated part and the like what Michigan's doing. I think you should be able to walk into the store, show your ID. You should be able to buy whatever you want. As far as that stuff is so much safer than what they're buying off the streets. The stuff on the streets is got fentanyl. So I would.
Do you know that Mike Braun was saying though that was one of the reasons he didn't want to legalize, or he's scared because there's going to be fentanyl laced marijuana.
And dispensaries?
There already is.
No, I think that was something that he said he was scared of. And
Mike Braun's an idiot anyway. I don't really agree too much with Mike Braun. I mean, with this,
I just wanted to get you to say that. Okay.
Yeah, well, hey, he is. I do not.
Good job, Brad.
Support Mike Braun. I don't. For what I was in law enforcement for a little while, and for what he said during the Black Lives Matters movement and all the what he said about the police officers, I'm done with him now. A lot of these, I totally believe that every life matters in America. I don't care what color you are. Look, I deal with people, low income people. I'm dealing with mothers with kids that cannot pay their bills because of the cost of living in this country. Something has got to be done where just 2 years ago, rent was $630, $40 where I'm at. Now it's almost $1,000. We had to raise it. I mean, the lumber, the everything that we got to do to fix these apartments, and the maintenance guys that are making around $25, $30 an hour now. So the cost of living is killing mothers and children's. It's just terrible, and something's got to be done. Somebody's got to go to Washington D.C. and fight for these people, the average person. And it's not being done. I go to these damn debates and sit next to Victoria Sparks. All she does is yell for 2 or 3 minutes at a time. You can't understand a damn thing she's saying. And then you go to Chuck Goodrich. Chuck is sitting over there. He won't answer a question. We like House Bill 1338 and all these places where if you go to confront your county council, if you get gavelled, now you can be handcuffed, jailed, and trespass on property that is public that you pay taxes on. I think that you should be able to bust every one of them's butt right in front of everybody, and they have to take it. If they're not doing their job, they should have to take it. They shouldn't.
I think they just want it in a respectful manner. Like
as long as they do it in a respectful manner. But what they're doing to the people is not respectful. So they should get what they give, and that's just the way I feel about it. We have
we should vote them all out. Yeah,
absolutely. All of them should be voted out, and we're dealing with a Republican chair in Madison County that's just the worst. I mean, he is terrible. You should see the stuff he's doing here in town, like what he did to Catherine Callahan. Catherine was on your show last week. Catherine's sitting at the polls. She calls me almost crying. Larry, another candidate just got in my face. He backed me down, and I get out there, and it was Mikkel Vaughn. Mikkel Vaughn's running for county council. He said that he was a bulldog, and then he barked at her. At the end of, he is mentally ill. Some of these people should just be told to step down, but they got to be voted out. And we got to have we got to have average everyday people starting to come in here and fight for us. We're not being represented, and I'm sick and tired of it. I'm fired up. I sat here and watched these guys spend $3-4 million a piece on campaigns smearing each other every 2 minutes on TV, like I'm getting ready to watch the Pacers game. I sat here and seen Chuck Goodrich 5 times on here talking about how bad Victoria Sparks is. Victoria's ran 3 more commercials saying the same thing. But
is she on a tractor?
What's that?
Is she on a tractor?
One of them, there was a tractor in it.
That's ridiculous.
And then the other one, they got Chuck Goodrich's tongue sticking out, flopping like he's a crazy guy. But look, it is time for regular people like us. We have got to step up and stop these people. At least call them out to the point to where they are being held accountable. Chuck won't. I have went after him several times in the debate, asking him why he voted this way. He won't answer it. I mean, but after he'll come up and say, "Well, they sent me a big bill." An omnibus type thing, and I had to, I can only vote for so much of this, and this, and I had to vote for it because the school lunches, free school lunches, were in that package. You don't have to vote for it. I'm a commissioner here in the redevelopment. We're bringing factories back to Anderson. We're bringing higher paying jobs back to Anderson. I'm proud of that. And they send me on a Friday. We have Tuesday as our next meeting. I still have not yet seen what we're voting on or what we have in front of us. I will tell them on Tuesday. You expect me to vote on this crap? You got it to me on Friday. You gave me 10 inches of stack of paperwork that big, and you expect me to read through it in 3 days and give you an educated vote? It's not happening. It pisses them off, and they can't take it because they're used to just thumbing through stuff and getting it passed. And I'm not that kind of guy. I want to know what I'm voting on, who I'm voting on, and how it affects people. And these guys don't want to do that. They don't want to take the time to do that. You got to stand up to these people and say, "I'm not voting on it." And
I hate to cut you off there, but if what you got there, Washington D.C.'s on steroids, but it sounds like you're the kind of guy that's not going to put up with it. So
I'm not going to put up with any of it.
Not going to put up with it. So we thank you, Larry, for coming on, and you are definitely fired up, and you are definitely a man of the people. So we wish you luck.
Well, thank you. And listen, all you poor and middle class folks out there, I'm here for you. I'm here to fight for you. I'm tired of us getting the hose and getting the shaft all the time. And believe me, I'm more moderate than what a lot of people think. So God bless y'all, and thank you. I appreciate you, John, Brad, and Lucy. I appreciate y'all's time.
All right. That's great. Let me just get you. All right. Now we have Mark coming on, and it looks like he's still en route to where he is going. And we thank him for his patience for coming on. But man, this is like speed dating, isn't it, Lucy? All right. I've never been speed dating or not. I've been speed skating, but not speed dating. So let's go ahead and bring Mark on here and see how he's doing. Mark, where are you? Are you like out at the national park or something?
Yeah, we just finished the Tipton County Lincoln Day dinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, Tipton. Is that how far your district
capital
goes?
of Indiana. That's right. Yeah, we missed Larry tonight.
All right. That's where Barnum and Bailey Circus is, all that. So we appreciate you hanging out and coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Go ahead and tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and why the heck you're running.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a constitutional conservative as well. very pro-life, very pro-Israel, and I practice law. I have offices in Noblesville and Kokomo. I worked in Congress for about 8 years, have some unique skill sets that I think made me the most qualified. Helped Congressman Fred Grandy. You remember Gopher on the Love Boat. I was Gopher's gopher. Did a lot of things, committee activity, drafting bills and laws. I remember working managing floor debate with Clarence Thomas's wife on the family medical leave, sustaining the president's veto. After that, I moved over and helped Dan Coates when he ran against Joe Hogsett, helped create the health savings accounts in the early 90s. Married a lady that was transferred to Detroit through that IMB-MBD merger, and helped Governor Engler as his healthcare policy advisor. So I traveled the state, worked with the Ottos, helped to defeat the Clinton healthcare bill. After that, I finished law school. We came back to Indiana, been here 25 years, and prosecute part-time. My take on some of the debate on the legalization of drugs would be different because I actually prosecuted people killed by drugged and drunk drivers. So would add a few cents on that when it's time. But that's a little bit about me. Why do I want to run? Hey, $37 trillion debt, mortgaging the kids' future. Got to figure a way to cut unnecessary spending, cut the unneeded regulations, really tame the beast, limit the size of government, get it back to the people. So those are a few things about me and why I'm running. Want to move the needle.
Okay, I'm going to start out with a question before Lucy and Brad get to you. So you've been around, as you just told us, for a long time. What would be your best, most great idea how to cut this spending? How to, how would you twist the arms to get the votes for these governments that's bent on spending? How do you plan to do that? What is the best solution you could have?
Yeah, step one, Benjamin Franklin said, once people realize they can vote themselves money, it's the end of the republic. And that's what we have. People get reelected by voting money. Secondly, systemic reform. After Newt Gingrich, a lot of power was consolidated in the Speaker's house. We have these omnibus budget reconciliation bills. There'll be hundreds of pages. Lobbyists write the language. Members haven't read them, and they get passed at the end of a session. They say government can't be shut down. We got to go back to systemic reform where you have the amendments, power shifts to individual members, you have transparent hearings, and then you have those amendments on the floor. So you have real debate and real votes on the issues. Third, you go to zero-based budgeting. So in zero-based budgeting, like Coca-Cola, all appropriations bills go back to ground zero. You got to justify all your spending. Coca-Cola does it, other big companies. Right now, we get mission creep. A lot of people don't realize if you do nothing, you get an automatic 3 to 4% increase in the budget. And that's unacceptable. And it's mortgaging away the children's future. So those are a couple ideas. There's no grand silver bullet. I'll give you an example. Neutral site for mammographies, maybe 30 other services. If you allow those to be done at clinics or doctor offices, you can save billions. And right now, the Medicare regs say you got to do it at a hospital. So you're going to have to shift some of the power away from the hospitals and insurance companies. That's part of our inflation problem.
Yeah. So fiscal responsibility sounds, that's a great thing. Getting the other people to go along with it. Now that could be a different thing. So Lucy, hey, less government, all that stuff, you got to be good for that, right? Oh, wait, look, we got Tiffany. Yay!
Hey, Tiffany's here. No, I love everything that that Mark has said. I mean, obviously he's got a lot of experience doing this. He's already done a lot. But Mark, I got to ask you a tough question. You've been hacking at the tree. You've been hacking at the branches. You've been serving us for a long time. I mean, you were Gopher's gopher, for goodness sakes. Are you ready? Are you ready to attack this at the roots and end the Federal Reserve? Are you willing to go undo what they did at Jekyll Island?
Yeah, the Federal Reserve, that's not under control of the president. I think they need some independence.
I think that we need constitutional money, like the Constitution says.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the legislature has to reclaim some of its responsibility. They're the ones that are supposed to manage the budget, and we've shifted so much power to the executive branch. That power's
Well,
got to be reclaimed by the legislative branch.
I got this little thing flying around. It's not just about reclaiming power. It's about going back to, the simple Constitution, which charges Congress with the power to coin money and to regulate the value thereof. The person
Sure.
that prints the money is the person that controls the economy. That's why, a dollar in 1913, is very different from a dollar today. I mean, right now we're at a 99% loss of value of the
Yeah.
US dollar in a little
Yeah.
over 100 years.
A lot of the problem's been the qualitative easing and the stimulus packages. It's greatly inflated and devalued the currency, but that's creating, more increases in gas, the food costs. And these are the economic indicators that are taken out on inflation. Our common everyday eggs, bacon, gas. That's got to be a part of the equation, but that's a big part of the inflation.
Everything that you said is true, but you haven't addressed and you haven't really answered my question. In 1913, we were sold out. And the power of our money, the power to regulate the value, the power to print it out of thin air was given to a private group of bankers. And they did that at Jekyll Island. So redpillexpo.org, if anybody wants any more information, and read G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Are you willing to put on the record tonight that you will fight for the American people to end the Federal Reserve so that the private banking system can stop stealing from the American people? And then, if this is a bonus question, would you repudiate the debt that was created illegally and anti-constitutionally?
What do you mean by repudiate?
Basically tell the Federal Reserve to F off because it's not
Yeah.
constitutional money. F
Yeah.
off. That,
Yeah.
see my
So to
see my
answer your
pronouns?
first question, no, I wouldn't eliminate the Federal Reserve, but two, I would significantly transform it.
Why would you transform something that's unconstitutional? You can't take a platypus and turn it into a chicken.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
but you got to
appreciate
have
your
a chicken.
perspective.
You got to have a good chicken to go to.
Are you ready to go to the gold standard?
Absolutely.
Way
Yeah,
beyond.
Way beyond.
I
Way
respect
beyond.
Kemp, and I'm all for a gold standard. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I mean, we were
I
sold
feel
out
like
by Nixon with
we should
Bretton
warn
Woods.
every guest about this question.
Yeah, well, I mean, my thing.
Exactly.
Making the show they expect.
Like that's coming.
Yeah, Mark, you got the lucky straw on this. But honestly, one question I'm going to have is, BRICS. BRICS is gaining more and more strength, and the Russians and Chinese tried to take over tried to kick the dollar out in 2008, and you've been around for all this time. This is one thing that I'm concerned with. I'm not, ending the Fed. I always say you need to have something better to go to before you end something else. Like don't quit a job till you got another job. But this assault on our money. What's that? Oh yeah, and Tiffany's talk. And don't get rid of that Bigfoot till you got another Bigfoot. So, what's your thoughts on BRICS? I know this is a little unfair because we didn't ask the other candidates this, but you've been around. I think you could handle that question. What is your opinion on BRICS and how much of a threat is that to our national security?
And when you say BRICS, what do you mean?
The group of the 17
Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and 25 or 30 other countries that signed on to make oil exchange happen in BRICS dollars instead of the US dollars. I mean, the only reason that we have this is because we've had the privilege of having everybody else exchange into dollars for oil. But once that petrodollar goes away, I don't care how many soldiers we throw at this. I don't care how many banana republics or major countries we overthrow. We're done for. I mean, people are going to use our currency, the Federal Reserve currency, to wipe their butts.
Yeah, well, and then we can't feed our troops. We can't, it's bad. Anytime an army or a nation or whatever cannot, support their army, ask Rome about it. They had to cut the corners off the coins, and that still didn't work. But anyway, so BRICS it's a threat, and it's coming. And I think they've actually started. Russia and China have actually started trading in BRICS dollars. So, I mean,
very opposed to that. Very concerned about the inappropriate use of the Bitcoin. One thing I was going to add on that debt,
what's inappropriate about Bitcoin? Full stop. I got to ask you, what is inappropriate about Bitcoin? Lay it on me, Mark.
Where I was going, and let me finish, is on artificial intelligence, there are a lot of things that we can do as a country to become much more productive. And when you increase productivity, you're going to increase revenues. And when you increase revenues, you're going to have more money in your budget, not only to help families, but to do things government wants to do, like support our military. That's a constitutional duty. So I think sometimes we forget how far we've come. I know there's a lot of ethical decisions to be made on artificial intelligence, but we've got to be focused on that. And your new question from the libertarian, what was that?
You said that Bitcoin is inappropriate. Lay it on me. How is Bitcoin inappropriate?
Yeah, I just like, keeping things based to the dollar. There's a lot of
Well, isn't that
speculation going
convenient?
on in
Isn't
the,
that convenient for you being an American? But what about
yeah.
the people who don't want currency
As
to
an
be
American,
based?
it is convenient for all of us, right?
Yeah. So
Lucy,
I want
like,
to let Tiffany get a question since did you have a late meeting with Bigfoot tonight? Tiffany, what's the deal here?
I went to the Republican gathering in Marion County. I was surprised you weren't there, John.
I know I had a board meeting and other stuff. Yeah, I have other stuff. Was that at the Speedway?
Yeah, it was at Speedway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was,
you guys all have so many little meetings.
well, this was a big one. It was a big fundraiser type of thing. So
Yeah. And it's funny, most of the candidates were out knocking doors, so there were not very many candidates there. Shreve and Chambers were there. I think that was about it. And well, there were some other people there too. I'm not giving like an official commentary or anything.
Right.
I know, right? But I thought that was interesting. But it was a really good evening to hear from Chairwoman Hathaway. So that was really good. Mark, it's always good to see you.
Good to see you, Tiffany.
So Mark has been so busy running that oftentimes I don't see him. I get to see Ellen, and Ellen works on his campaign, and Ellen is awesome. Do you remember that TV show with Brooke Shields in like the 90s? Ellen.
Yeah.
So, but she's a really nice girl. And Mark, I know you're running really hard. We've got a lot of great candidates in this congressional race, and I think you spend a lot of time talking about what you do if you win. If you're not successful, what will you continue to do in Indiana politics?
Yeah, so I'm a working man Republican, meaning, and that's nothing against women. I had a social media said, well, what about the working man woman? Well, I'm for her too, but that means I'm working my job. I've got 2 law offices, Noblesville and Kokomo, and that's what I would do. Continue working if I don't win.
What kind of practice? What law do you practice? Any specific, general? What?
Yeah, I do a lot of estate trust work. That's probably 70%. That's planning, and then helping administrative trust, special needs trust. But then I do a lot of small business law. Got about 60 businesses I represent. You're reviewing contracts, leases, and then do a lot with guardianships. And that's really motivated me. I've got a passion for mental health reform. And even in Indiana, we're behind on geriatric care. So we've got a floor there at the new community north, but we got to do more. As a $120 million bond, I see police officers pulling their hair out. I heard a case in Carmel. They were back at the same home 50 times. Many times it's like bipolar, psychiatric breaks, but after a 72-hour EDO, the person's back home and then the police get called again. So we've got to have more short-term beds, and we need more options, treatment options. Hospitals lose money. They've cut the bed size, the bed capacity. We probably need 3 more hospitals that treat mental illness and those that are, self-medicating, marijuana, alcohol, and it's many times a dual diagnosis.
Right. Well,
no
baby boomers aren't getting any younger.
No copay or deductible when you get your mental health care in jail. And I've seen it in clients, a lot of ladies in their 20s, you'll see a chemical imbalance, a psychiatric break, short-term hospitalization, getting the right medicines. They're back to work, they're back to college, but equal opportunity employer, all ages, all income levels. It's just amazing to see how that has risen over the past few years.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting, Mark, as you talk about a house in Carmel where there's been 50 visits by the police and, the up and down. It's interesting because the best thing for some of those patients is when the standard of care changes. because as long as we give people pills and we expect them to take them, the hardest thing I think is to get somebody who's mentally ill to take medicine, because sometimes they, it's just very difficult. And what is interesting in Europe, when people have like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, they will treat them first with the shots, the long actings, to help them get control, get insight, get their symptoms under control. And in the United States, we put with pills, and every break that they have, they get worse and worse. So wherever you can fight the standard of care is best for us.
Yeah.
All right.
Part of the problem here, we got a real shortage of psychiatrists and counselors. And I think IU Med School had one person graduate and they went out of state. Have to have more doctors in that arena. And that's not a fun job sometimes. Reimbursement's too low. You're getting cussed at, spit on. So it takes somebody with a real heart that wants to serve in that area. And now with the medicinal release medications in a shot, you can get one shot per month. And that really helps on some of the psychotropic medications that are needed. But I agree on standard of care. You want to get down to minimal medicine as possible. No doubt about that.
Well, I can say
also to your point, Mark, about mental health professionals. I have a friend who is a psychiatrist who quit his job because they were dumping too much work on him, and he was concerned about his own mental health.
Sure.
Yeah, it is tough. As somebody who has a master's degree in psychology and, trying to do that, I'm a bricklayer, but I got a master's degree in 2008 when construction went bad, and I thought I'd never be in construction again. But doing that 8 hours all day, and it's not just 8 hours, you get involved.
Oh, and you take that home with you.
Yeah. And I do one-on-one stuff with people that I can afford to talk to them all day. It is quite tiresome, but part of the thing is the licensure process in getting this done is very cumbersome too. And we don't want crazy people treating crazy people. I might
Can you say that again? Say that louder.
Yeah, I know, but we do, sometimes it takes a crazy person to help a crazy person. So that's
Tiffany, and who's to say what's crazy?
I liked it better when you were gone, Tiffany. By the way, Brad. Okay, so don't make me have to go get my diploma either. So
from Ball State.
I know I got a graphic design and interior design degree from there. So I got a lot of school and I should be smarter than I am. But anyway, Brad,
you can come help me pick out drapes.
Yeah, I can. And then I can counsel you on when you mentally break down because I got the wrong color for you. So Brad, we're going to let you have the last question because Mark's got to get back from Tipton. He's got a long day of law and order tomorrow and campaigning and whatnot. So Brad, our lone Democrat, we're going to let you see if you can go ahead and just put the dagger in, Mark, and just, Lucy worked on it pretty good.
I want to put the dagger into sports.
Okay.
Like figuratively, not. See, we need a conspiracy thing at the bottom of that. That sounded horrible if that's edited out. But Mark, can you just, if you want to kind of tell us what
Before Spiro reminds me.
Yeah. How would you what sets you apart from the other candidates? I mean, if you could say like what really sets you apart from Victoria Sparks?
Good question. A couple points. One, I was born and raised besides Larry Savage, who was just only candidate born and raised in the district. And you understand nuances. I remember Fisher's was Mud Sox, 80 people. I bet the only person there that's still there is Gary Reynolds. Gary is endorsing me in the campaign. Understanding Carmel, understanding Marion, Anderson, some of the more industrial areas. I think I would represent the people well because I know how they think. I know how the different subcultures operate and the nuances. This job, a lot of us constituent services. I think you got to step up the quality. I've had some people upset, whether it's a passport, whether it's veteran services. So you've got to fight for the people. And that's through good casework. I always thought Dan Burton did a good job in that regard. I work for a diplomat at Baylor. I'm probably more versed in foreign affairs and foreign security issues than any other member of Congress. And our world's becoming, that's in this race. And this world's becoming more international. I just called 3 people on fundraising. One guy's with Beck Seeds and he's in the Grand Cayman at a trip. I call another guy, he's in Hawaii and it's a nursing trip for his wife. They're training students, getting ready to open up a nursing program at Taylor University where I went. And then I called another person and Well, he's leaving for Germany today. He's in the furniture business. So the world's so much more international. I grew up working on the farm. I really want to be a voice for the agricultural community. We've got so much agriculture in this community. A lot of people don't realize it. It was just in Marion. Agricor makes all the corn for what you eat there at Chelsea. They make the grits and other products. So we forget about that sector, but it's a lot of our real estate in the Fifth District.
Yeah, I think you
Those are
guys
a
have
few things that come to mind. I can tell you, when you're in Washington, D.C., and I believe in term limits, I think part of our debt problem is people get pensions and pay raises. You got to be there 5 years to get vested. I don't think you should be getting benefits from a job. I think it was a citizen legislature, and George Washington's a model for that. But I think in D.C., you got to have a lot of wisdom, knowing how to fight, when to fight, just how to do that. And I believe with my local, state, and federal experience, I have that in my DNA.
Yeah, well, you certainly have plenty of experience for that type of thing. And even though you have been there, you still want to go there. So my hat is off to you. And Tiffany, we're done. No more. No, I'm just kidding. You what? Make it quick. Make it quick.
I love what you said about your experience. And if we were to elect somebody who doesn't have any experience at that level, how long does it take to become effective?
Depends on the skill set and the IQ of that member. I was around some members that were so staff driven, they didn't make the decisions. And I can tell you on term limits, I saw in Michigan, the state House and Senate have term limits. So that can strengthen the hands of lobbyists or the union people in the agencies who don't have term limits. So that begs the question, should there be term limits there too? I think you got to have sharp cookies, people that have a good IQ and a lot of wisdom. And some people don't ever get it after 12 years. Some people can get it after year one. I think it's a person by person decision. I think people really need to check those qualifications when they're voting, not just put someone in. We're getting a lot of self-funding. Don't just put the people that have the most money, that can build the most name ID through a short period of time. I think that's one of the weaknesses in our republic right now. And I think it's something we're going to have to think about on campaign finance reform. You know, in Britain, you're capped at $5,000. $5,000, everything else is public finance, and you debate the issues. And I just wonder if we need to move that way.
Yeah, our show would become much more popular because it's free to get on here and nobody gets paid. We have no advertisers, right. So we can do whatever the heck we want to extent. Even right. Tiffany can make fun of me. Even.
But if you have any real estate needs, I'm here for you.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there you go. That we get it does help you that, and I do believe it helped Tiffany with her election up there in Fishers. I would say so. There is some benefit, and Lucy, I think she needs to have a little bit of a political fix with all those kids, and I know she misses it. And Brad, everybody knows Brad wants to get in the mix, so we do have some skin in the game on this. Mark, we do appreciate you coming on. We wish you all the luck, and hey, thanks for taking the time because I know you're out on the road.
Well, you'll have to thank Ellen and Tiffany. Yeah, thanks for getting.
Yeah, I went door knocking. I went door knocking with Ellen for her precinct committee. Sue Ann Gilroy is in her precinct. I knocked on her door. She went home. She must be in Hawaii with your other friends. So
we're thankful to have her. She does a great job.
Yep. All right, Mark. Thanks for coming on, and good luck.
Have a good night. Thanks.
All right, guys. Now it's time for the conspiracy. You guys did well tonight. I saw the fur coming up on Mark there with Lucy. I could just feel it coming because
we were out of time. I was totally going to beat up on him more. There is nothing worse than somebody who has been part of the swamp along the edges, and now they want to jump in. Yeah. Well, if I jump in the swamp, I'm wrestling the alligators.
Yeah, they're out there, and like I said at the start of the show, it's easy to run for that position because you just have to file the FCC and a couple things and then you're in.
Isn't that the way? Don't you? I think that's better.
I do too. I mean, look at how competitive these things are compared to our president. I mean, we got,
I mean, even like our senators, like with John Rust and Jim Banks and all that,
one guy. So, it's yeah, it's a club, and a lot of people ain't in it. But
We ain't in it. Yeah.
you guys did good tonight in our speed dating. It was like that's why I
That was
told
fun. Yeah.
that was. Whew. At least I didn't call Jamison the wrong name on air. And I
You
didn't.
just did that before we got on,
I did
right?
before
Yeah,
that,
it wasn't on air.
It wasn't the whole name, and it just started out wrong. It just started out
Yeah,
nice.
well, it's easy. It's
Who
easy to
did
get
I
it
miss?
mixed up, you know.
Oh, before on the air, I slipped and said Jamison with a different. The second letter wasn't A.
Yeah. Okay, because I apologize for being late, so I apologize.
That's all right. We know it's that thing. So hey, next week, before we get to the conspiracy, next week we have the election thing. So I don't know if we'll have any guests at all. I'll find out. After that, though, actually, you guys know who Adam Wren is? You know Adam Wren? He's a guy.
Isn't he
Yeah,
right?
he's on Twitter. He's a writer and stuff. He's threatened a couple times to come on the show. So I said, "Oh, come on the show." And I said, "Well, send me your info."
I think next Tuesday might be perfect for him.
Well, no, we got Becky Cash next Tuesday. I've already put her off before. So we have Becky Cash. She's going to come on and wrap up the legislature. Remember that thing that went on?
Yeah, wait. So Becky Cash is going to be on next time?
Yeah, she's coming on. She's an advocate for the
Brad is foaming at the mouth.
He can't wait to get off the air so he can start doing research. So,
I already have like a Becky Cash file. So
you got a Becky.
We're good.
He's like the Rockford Files.
Foaming at the mouth.
But hey, if you can't get through the Mouthwash show, I don't think you could get through anything.
I'll phrase all the questions nicely. So
yeah.
Smile when you say them.
Hey, tomorrow, I'm not the only TV star in our family here. Lisa is going to be on Lifestyle Live at 10 a.m. on Wish TV. She's going to be, exhibiting her goods, and I mean her artwork. I mean her work that she's selling, not her goods.
Goods?
No, good. Sorry. So yeah, she makes a lot of Speedway art, and she's got this artist collective that's getting together, like 12 artists. That's going to be during the month of May, and it's just going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. I can't wait to help. What's your question, Tiffany?
So Larry wanted to talk to me. Larry, I'm sad that I was late, but I'm glad that we got you on the show. So that was worth it for me to get.
Larry is savage. So I was going to put something up here. Hold on a second. Here's one.
There was some passion during that portion.
There was. Well, and I think a lot of people have had enough. So this is Angie's. This is Angie Jacob, John Jacobs. He's not invited to a lot of these events, and I know at the Perry Township thing that he didn't get invited, but I don't. The thing tonight, Tiffany, I don't think anybody could go if they just.
Yeah, I think it was a fundraiser. I mean,
Yeah, but
are there a lot of like invite only events that I'm not?
I don't get invited to those.
I don't know.
No, but I mean, like, I kind of assumed all these events were like,
Brad, if you can write a check for $500, you're invited to anything. Everything.
Like, does that make you like a silver sponsor or like?
No, that gets you like an aluminum sponsor. You got to go like 5,000 to get up to any kind of real metal.
I think it's just best to be a consistent donor. That's good. Well, consistent.
I don't know. To me, it's like
none of those choices.
I would say if you want to donate some money, don't do it to a politician. Let's do it to Meet Me Under the Bridge. We're trying to raise. Yeah.
I donated to that, but I couldn't figure out the drop down thing. I couldn't find lids. So I donated it to supplies.
We know. What we've been doing is, Tiffany, we've got one side. We get these clamshell service styrofoam things. Well, they're cutting them in half so we can double it up because it costs X amount of dollars to buy these extra ones. I'm like, and then we put them in a bag, and now we're looking for bags. So it's like the lady that ate the spider. So far, I think we're up to about $245 or $35 out of the $450 we're trying to raise. And we got some bags, and I got somebody that bought some of the things. So, but go to meetmeunderthebridge.com website and donate to it. Just cut $20 will do it. I had somebody $20 off of that.
Like Chris Rock in that movie. He's like, how much for one rib?
How much for one rib? One rib. And then we serve 52 weeks. 52 weeks every Sunday, 3 p.m. at Mission 27's parking lot. Come on down anytime. You can just come down and watch and see what's there and see what we do. But it is the harvest is plenty, the labors are few. And, 6 years ago when I started doing this, we served 40 to 60. Now we serve 80 to 100 every week. So that's a barometer that should tell you something about the cost of living and how high it's gotten. Now, a lot of our people aren't even homeless, but they can't afford food and rent. So they will get, we're able to give them supplies to make it till Tuesday, Wednesday, plus a meal on Sunday. But it will make you appreciative of what you have if you come down and do that. So,
John, all jokes aside, you're a pretty caring person, and the things that you do in your community to take care of other people, I hope that doesn't go unnoticed, because there are very, very few people who are like you. Very, very few.
Yes.
Well, I got a great wife, and we got great support and all that. But I just think
you're a good man. You're a really good person.
I like it more when you make fun of me. It's easier to take.
No, isn't it weird when we all start?
Please go on. But I'm turning red. But it's what we're supposed to do. I mean, nobody should be surprised. Oh, and by the way, we got Cinco de Mayo party for all my Mexican friends on Sunday from 2 to whenever. So the police will probably be called.
See, where are you going?
It's at the Art Center. We're having it at the Art. We're shutting down the street. Mariachi band. We got tacos and stuff and everything going. Come on. We do it right.
Deportation fest.
BYOM. Bring your own Mexican. That's all I gotta say. Was that too much?
I thought you meant like tacos, to be honest.
No, we got that there. We're cooking tacos. We got tamales. We got tacos and tamales.
Bring your own salsa.
Sour cream. Yeah. Do you got sour cream?
Oh, they got they got all that stuff. We got all that stuff. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fun.
We got tamales, so
it's Cinco de Mayo, and a lot of people don't realize. They think, oh, that's when Mexico was independent from some. No, that's when they beat the French. So I don't know what that means. Yeah,
I don't really see the French being committed to fighting in a hot weather place. I just don't really
we're a cold weather place.
It is too hot for me here. I cannot fight. I must go home.
Fight later. We fight later.
French always surrender.
Let's have some wine and some French toast, and then we'll fight. And we'll conquer your country with this flag. Yes, that's right. Okay, I'm putting the banner up. Before Spiro gets on to me. We got conspiracies coming. So let me get to the thingamajiggy, and we'll do it. And I thought it was a good show, by the way. We got through that well. All the guests came on. A little trouble with John Jacobs' connection there, but you'll have that on this live production. So here you go. Get ready. Go.
Hey, y'all. It's time for the conspiracy theory, so you better get your tinfoil hat out, and let's see what's going on this week.
See, who's that little guy cartoon is? So when Brad's got the black cat. Looks like
I got Barley as a
tail sticking out of
a tinfoil hat.
There
we go.
You guys, I would give you a hard time, but you probably want to be paid if I were to do that. So let's see, Lucy, you're our all-star conspirafact person. So if it didn't have Edward Griffin and the fed in. Did you see I tagged you in that old Edward Griffin? I didn't know that dude was that old. That was like,
he's like 93 now or something.
He's on our show before. He was on our show.
Yeah, he was on our show.
Yeah.
Are there any candidates still backstage?
Yeah, John Jacobs. Do you want me to bring him? Hey, John Jacob, nod your head if you want to come on the conspiracy. Oh yeah, that's what. Oh, he just won 10 votes or lost 10 right there. I don't know which. So yeah, that's you got to unmute there, John.
John, you're on mute. You're still on mute.
Okay, there it goes. I kept on
there you go.
Well, I'm styling. My wife made it for me.
Yeah, she's sticking up for you with these mean Republicans that won't let us come to things.
I haven't been invited to a lot of them. That's why. I mean, Tiffany, I don't know if you were directing that at me or not, but I mean, I just haven't been invited to a lot of them. I'm finding out after the fact.
But others are invited.
The other candidates are invited. I'm not invited to a lot of them.
But I believe it was a fundraiser. So if next time I get a flyer, I'll let you know.
I can get on the email
We're less than a week away. I'm just saying it's just been weeks of this just going on over and over.
Right. Hey, Tiffany, how many people were there? Was it a pretty good turnout?
That was a pretty good turnout. Yeah, but Hamilton County Lincoln Day dinner is Thursday.
Oh, is it next Thursday?
Yeah, it's our Mario party, and today's Chairman Masalamany's birthday.
All right. All
Wait,
right.
we'll say Mario Party then.
Not
You can
Andretti.
Party, but
Not Andretti. So since John's
Wait,
on
can
as
I
our
candle?
guest.
Like, but is it like you dress up like Luigi and Yoshi and
Yeah. Oh, that's a good
like
one,
is that?
Brad.
No, I'm
That's a good
being
one.
serious. She said
Yeah.
Mario Party.
Mario Brothers. Pick one.
Oh, not the one in the middle.
Wow, that was PG-13. Okay, so since John's on and he's our guest, he can come up with the first conspiracy theory, and I'm sure he's probably got 10 or 11.
Oh, I have a classic one. So John Schmidt, this is my conspiracy. John Schmitz is actually way older than what he really looks. He is actually the real voice for Rocky. In Rocky Bullwinkle.
Me and June Foray are like this. If anybody doesn't know who June Foray is, she's the Rocky voice. So yeah, I remember June. She was a hoot. Oh.
Rocky and Bullwinkle, not like
Hey Rocky.
not like
I did the Kermit the Frog the other night for the Jamie Rittenhour. That was, and we had a Trump, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll tell you, Watson Prunier nailed that Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, matter of fact, let's see if we can. I'll play that. Just bear with me for a few minutes here. We're getting really close. We got 5 minutes left. If we have anybody in the chat, you got a question, you better get it in now. Otherwise, I'm going to let Josh. Josh, you've been dominating the conversation for the last 15 minutes. So, but I'll let you have another question. So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, instead of a question, I want to make a statement. I think Donald Trump made a bad call in endorsing Mike Braun, and I think we could change it right here. We could change that right here, right now. We could actually change that right here, right now. Believe it or not. They say the radical left, they done stepped in it. They stepped in it hard, and they stepped in it heavy. They should have picked Jamie Wright. They should have picked Jamie Wright now as their adversary. I'm telling you, she's coming for him. She's coming for him, and I think I'm going to change my endorsement tonight, folks. Okay, I'm going to change it, folks. They said, sir, you got to change your endorsement. I said, why I got to change my endorsement? So, well, Mike Braun, he's no good. He's no good. He's a rhino all the way. So tonight, I'm going to announce it right here. Jamie Rightower, you got my endorsement.
Let me do my Mike Braun imitation.
That was great. That was great.
I'll say it. That was a good one.
I've been doing that for a while now. I actually dressed up as Trump a few
It
times.
took you a minute to get going on it, but I knew where you were going with that. That was almost as good as a good question. It was very good.
You can let Arnold now speak.
Oh, Arnold. What do you have, Arnold? Tell us what you think.
You got to go to the polls and vote for Jamie Rittenhour. It is your imperative decision to vote for the best candidate in Indiana. Jamie Rittenhour is the governor of Indiana. You better vote for her, or we will throw you out of the chopper. Vote for Jamie Rittenhour now. Do not do anything else. She is the best option for Indiana. Do not take Braun or the other people who are a waste of our time. Vote for Jamie Rittenhour now.
All right. Well, we've had Trump and we've had Arnold. We need to have Kermit the Frog.
Okay.
Kermit the Frog here. I think you should be voting for Jamie Rittenhour. She's almost as good as Miss Piggy. And we will be having Jamie Rittenhour on The Muppet Show next week. Thank you very much.
So there you go. Oh, there you go. That was
fantastic.
That just was Josh started that thing and Watson jumped in. Now I know both of those guys, and that was one of those deals where Jamie contacted us and put us together to do that, and we had a good hour conversation with her. And we're, John Jacob, you called me and said, "Hey, I want to be on the show," and here you are. I mean, so I don't know where else you can go and get honest questions. Like I got my silly hat on, but you can get honest questions, have a chance to express yourself and in a sort of a relaxed atmosphere. I mean, we try to keep it nice and easy and all that. So, but yes, I am the voice of Bullwinkle and other cartoon characters.
That was
Kermit the Frog, you.
Yeah, most of my stuff is so old that I don't know what the new commercial people are.
I felt like a 6-year-old.
Yep. So, okay, Lucy, what's your What's
I
your
need your help with this, John. If you go over into our back chat,
okay?
private
Okay.
chat, you'll see that I put a link to a document. Could you please display that document so
I
that
will be
people will know that I
displaying
am
that.
not making this up?
There it
Because
goes.
when you see what I'm going to be talking about.
It's going out to 5 different platforms right now. Boom, 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 boom. There it goes. It's out there.
Okay, now can you display that so that we can all see it?
I don't know if I can do that. It'll take me a second. Go ahead and talk, and
Okay, so the document that you're going to be looking at is put out by a company called Deagle, DEAGLE.com. I'm sorry, DEAGEL.com. And back in 2014, they had a chart. This has been around for years, folks. So this is not a new conspiracy theory, but it really makes you wonder in light of the COVID pandemic and everything. I say pandemic, it's really a scamdemic. But when you go to this link and you look at the chart, what you'll see is that in 2014, the population of the United States was 319 million with a density of 33 inhabitants per square kilometer, and our GDP 17 trillion. Now, the forecast by Deagle for 2025, we're talking 240 days from now, roughly. They predict that the population of the United States will be 65 million. That is about an 80% reduction, and that our density will be down to 7 inhabitants per square mile, with our GDP down to less than $1 trillion. So, and another thing is they think that the GDP per capita is going to go down from 54,627 to 13,591. So please explain to me why this company that is famous for their forecasts and for their accuracy is predicting an 80% reduction in the population and and again about a 70% reduction in our spending power and production. Go ahead, Tiff. What do you think it is?
I think the little bombs and nano molecules they put in the vaccinated people are going to cluster because they're going to put out the signal. They're going to go woo, 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 and then all dead.
It's easier than that. It's easier than that. They simply put out the signal through your cell phones. That's why you have the 5G towers, because the nanoparticles that are made out of graphene, which are just like tiny single-edge razor blades. We are talking one of the smallest things on the planet that can literally cut through. That's why you're seeing people with higher blood flow, like athletes, were dying suddenly, is because their body was even more efficient at circulating those graphene.
so little baby
Yeah.
knives and all that. Well,
They really were. They
I
really
heard
were.
somebody say something about, well, the highest we'll ever get is 9 billion people in the whole world, and after that, that's all we can have. I don't know where they go.
Lucy, I did notice like all the budgets are lower too. So even the military budget is
yeah, that's what happens when you're a conquered nation, is that
it
your
was
military
756 billion in 2014, and it said that it's going to be
7.2 billion. Yep. So 90% reduction, actually more than 90% reduction. So what does that tell you?
But our GDP per capita is still going to be better than, the rest of the world figures. So, hey,
I guess
silver lining.
You know what that tells me, Lucy, is I'm not going to be able to retire anytime soon.
80% of the population, then some of us have got to learn some additional skills.
Hey, I got lots of skills.
Well, and for those folks that were smart enough to avoid the scam that was the experiment, you know who I'm talking to.
What about, like, did they have a projection for 10 years?
No, this is next year.
5 years or something like that. Something.
Well, have you ever studied the
guessing when it is
how they
It's
have
okay, Brad, you don't have to turn in your library books. You're good.
you have the multiplications
so many
of
that they don't even
sevens.
know about.
Yeah, have you ever noted that, like, multiply something by 7, or if you take something and then divide it in halves, how long does it, like, say it's a gallon jug, and it takes 60 minutes to fill it. When is it going to be half full? And when is that time is? Well, that's at 30 minutes because the next half fills it up. So the point is that when this stuff happens, it's just a slow creep, and then it's boom. It gets
Exactly.
so
Yeah, it's you hit that critical point. Seth Godin has that new book he calls The Tipping Point. And this is true in so many things. You got the Pareto principle, right? 80% is done by 20%. So, I mean, anywhere you go, 80% of the production in a sales force is done by 20% of the staff.
that's why I'm so tired.
I'm telling you, hug your loved ones, especially if you got the vaccine. And
Let's see, I
make
got
friends.
2 kids that did and 2 that didn't. Lucy, did any of your kids get the vaccine? Over your
Really?
dead body. Is
Like you
that
have
what
to
you meant to
ask?
say? Well, I know, but I
Yeah.
mean, hey, kids are rebels. I'm telling you, they're rebels. I got one that got the Johnson and one that got the Pfizer. And the other ones, my other one, Micah Beckwith, wrote an exemption for her. So
That's good.
yeah, that's what you get when you got a crazy dad. You get all sorts of crazy kids. But
Thankfully, my family is well aware of the scam and well educated on the scam. I mean, there are other places where I have not been able to instill all of my values in my children. You know, however, that was one thing that we were really strong on. And I'm thinking of my 19-year-old right now and how when she was in high school, like her hobby was going on Instagram and educating people about vaccines.
a daughter after your own heart. All right,
Oh yeah,
Brad.
she'd be like, "Now, what would you just say to this one, Mom?"
Yeah.
Hey, and then she'd show me. I'm like, "Hey, man, you got it. You got it. Good girl."
Any way you can bond is, you got to find your openings anyway. Brad, speaking of bonding with kids, no, I'm just, how do you bond with your kids?
Oh yeah, no,
Speaking
yeah,
of
we go
police
to
concert?
story tots and stuff. I was making Harry
Top
Potter
rope.
magic wands and stuff for one of the last story tots or the next story time I have to go to. So
You have
yeah,
your
kids are
own
pretty fun.
kids or this with other people's kids?
Other people's.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, like they come in and like we go to daycares and stuff too. It's like the library is pretty, we're pretty community based.
But you don't have your
driven.
own kids. You don't have your own
Oh
kids.
yeah, no, I have a 14-year-old and a 6-year-old
Oh, okay.
boy, or both boys.
How do you wait like 8 years between kids?
Oh yeah,
Right,
both
Lucy?
of those were planned, John. Like who plans?
Oh yeah, I
kids?
forgot you're a Democrat. You don't plan
Yeah.
anything. Never mind.
Yeah.
So what's your conspiracy
It's all
theory?
chaos,
If your conspiracy
explains-
theory is you don't know where kids come from. That's my conspiracy about you. You don't know where the kids come from.
No.
Something
And
in
if
the
I
water.
told you like what I mislearned during sex ed, like I mislearned a lot of things. But I don't want to go into that right now.
Yeah, that's right. So
I'm
you
not
got a
ready to cross
conspiracy
that bridge.
theory, or you think that's about the White Sox? Can you just think?
Well, no. I want to correct a conspiracy or correct a term. May 5th is actually going to be the Easter for Greek Orthodox Christians, and it's because we follow a separate calendar, and I don't know why. Like, I know why, like, but it's just an odd thing for me to have to accept about religion. That there's two dates for Easter that.
Easter?
Yes.
That your Easter's not Catholic Easter?
No, and as a matter of fact, one of my best friends, in high school, he would always call it fake Easter. Like my Easter would be fake Easter, and we would just go back and forth about that. He would love this whole conversation, by the way.
He would.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Brad. So we got Cinco de Mayo coming on Sunday. We could have Orthodox fake Easter Day too on that.
There you go. Yeah, no,
We could,
Greek
we
Orthodox.
could hide raw eggs, not hard boiled.
I would plug the Greek Fest in I think at the Greek Orthodox Church in Carmel. It is fantastic. They have the best food. You guys should all go.
Well,
summer.
we have Spiro Heraklianos in our viewership here, and that's as Greek as you get. Heraklianos, come on.
Yeah, that is a Greek name.
Greek. And then I have George Sturgiopoulos. He owns the Greek islands. Had both of those guys talking on the big. Remember the big S I got? They were out there talking in Greek on the big S. It was a very wonderful thing. So anyway, Tiffany, what is your conspiracy?
I don't have anything, but my jaw's been really hurting, and so there were a couple of days where I couldn't really open my mouth. I went on a business trip, and I was in a whole lot of pain, and it started to feel better. And then I was doing some facial massage, and it clicked right here, and then my ear quit hurting, and my nasal passage opened, and Oh, and so my daughter's in school to be a chiropractor. I've never been to a chiropractor, but I think I am all in on getting your face adjusted. There are 10 bones in your face. And when I did like this and it clicked, my ear quit hurting. I was like, oh my goodness. So if people have any issues with their faces, their jaws, nasal passages, stuff like that, go to a chiropractor and get your face adjusted.
I gotta add on that. There's something called orthotropics, not orthodontics, but orthotropics. Just like tropics, Tropics. Go look it up on YouTube. It was started by Dr. Mew, MEW. So it's called mewing, and it's actually the science of exercising the muscles in your face to ensure proper bone development.
Mm.
And so, you start out with, babies not being breastfed, and there's so much musculofacial development that comes from breastfeeding.
Oh.
It's incredible. But why don't we that's another whole conspiracy I'm not going to get into, but go look it up, because if you can catch the kids earlier, and I just found out about this recently, so I haven't been able to use it on my own kids. But proper facial and muscular development will leave enough room for the teeth. They
Oh, yeah.
have kids that their faces were flat, and even adults that are doing the mewing and doing the proper tongue exercises, your cheekbones pop out and you become more attractive.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, I need a lot of
you've already
that.
been doing
I need
it.
a lot of that.
Yeah.
I need. That's what happened to me. I'm pretty sure I didn't get that.
I need
stuff.
all the help I can get.
It's like, yeah.
So it's like working out your face. Just
Yeah,
It is a
go to
real
a-
thing.
Who knew? Who knew these things? I tell you, I just born in the wrong century.
Whole new market.
Think about people that where like one side's a little bit bigger or their faces are just a little bit crooked. I mean, they weren't born like that. That happens
So
over
are-
time.
Is it going to be like a
crooked
trainer
face
at a gym, or is it going to be a doctor? Like, I mean, I'm also imagining like people working out. Like,
Well, if you're working out, you're probably getting better blood flow. And if you want to have the best blood flow,
not working out their face, just
Oh,
getting
yeah,
all
that-
hyped up and
But
Well, if you take a
Yeah,
holistic
that.
to medicine, you should be working out your face in addition to your body. If you're going to walk,
never thought of that.
yeah.
Well, I think this show has gone to a screeching halt at this
No,
point.
wait. Also, when I turned 50 last year, I could no longer chew gum. And I was talking to this doctor
State
about
law.
Wait, no, this doctor said, well, Tiffany, when you get older, like the muscles in your body start to break. I was like, what? My jaw? I was like,
Yeah.
this is not fair.
You've been working that jaw for a while. I've told you about time. But I had to do it. I'm sorry. After the compliment you gave me,
I walked right into that one.
yeah, that was easy. That was too easy. Low hanging for whatever. So I'm going to end this thing up with my conspiracy theory, which take a little chapter out of Lucy's book. The BRICS. You heard me mention that. The BRICS. It's coming. The BRICS is coming. It's going to be interesting. We keep carelessly spending our money on other countries and whatnot, propping up our dollar. It's coming. I'm telling you, people had enough of us. So, and then we're how many trillions in debt, John Jacob? A bunch of trillions.
Over 34 trillion dollars in debt, $1.7 trillion deficit.
Yikes.
Can I say something?
No.
This is lawyer speak. I'm going to do it anyway. Fraud cancels the most solemn contract. That debt is irrelevant and should be repudiated because it was never legal in the first place.
Let's just get one of those credit card guys. Hey, we can cancel your. Let's go.
I think the mechanism to cancel this involves lead, tar, and feathers.
Don't forget pitchforks.
That too.
Yeah,
Use
those
whatever
things.
works.
All right. Well, John Jacob, thanks for staying on the whole time. You probably learned some other things from the other candidates and all that. And you look like you're just cruising right along. It's no big deal. And all that, let me get some of this stuff off of here before we go. Got banners everywhere. All right. So, yeah. So good luck with everybody. I don't know what else we have. We have next week, we have the election. We have so do you have a victory party planned somewhere, John, or you just staying at the house with Angie? What do you got going on?
Yeah, how's it looking? How's the race looking?
We're having it planned at our house. So we're going to have some of the people that helped on the people campaign team and some of the other people that helped. How's it looking, Tiffany?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. People have asked me that. I gauge it by what the swamp is doing. what the swamp, how they're reacting to me. I noticed that they're saying and doing things that just seem peculiar to me. I'm just thinking, why would you do that? I mean, I gotta, I'm gonna say it here. My wife's probably not gonna like this, but so I got a text from Jefferson Shreve texted me like a few days ago, and he said, it was just odd. He just said impressive. He goes, I've got more money than you. I've got basically all the money I need to run my ads. And he goes, I got to say, your ground game and your sign presence in the district is impressive.
I've seen them. I'm actually working down there in your district at Carson and Thompson.
Yeah.
That big block that's going up there, that's my guy. So
I just thought it was odd that it might, and I'm just using that as one thing, but I just thought that was odd. My opponent would say that. I just know Speedy's been complaining and belly aching about, Shreve just, raking on him and using all that money.
yeah. Well, you know what? One thing I've noticed about Shreve is he's a nice guy. I mean, he's not going to be mean about it. So that's nice of him.
Well, my question about Jefferson Shreve is, if he were to get in power, how nicely would he want to take our guns? Is he going to show up and ask politely?
Lucy, you'll be always known as the Jefferson Shreve political mayor career killer with that. But honestly, he should have stuck with what he told you.
Why is Tiffany playing with a Mr. Potato Head?
She's making a politician live on the air. Look.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at the little handbag. All right.
Checks all the bags.
Is that a gender neutral?
It's a brown female running for office.
No, it's a satchel. It could be like an Indiana Jones satchel,
Yeah, it could be. All right, you people.
So you're running against Shreve and John
Speedy and Rats.
No. There are 7 people in this race. There are 6 other people running against me.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
Exactly.
Okay, I apologize. Well, I accept the correction. I apologize. So I saw one of those Speedy ads that Shreve's campaign put out when he's like shooting clays.
Oh yeah.
That's the most clever thing I've ever seen. That was clever.
Well, he could just do like Kristi Noem and find a gravel pit and shoot your own dog and shove it in.
And
did you guys know about her?
Yeah.
Governor of
And
South
be
Dakota.
proud of it.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, everybody's got surprises they've gotten their everybody's got surprises back, right?
Some things you're supposed to hide.
Yeah. Well, as Milton Fred,
She wrote a book and it was in it.
Yeah.
She lives in the rugged outdoor. She lives in the frontier up there. There's
you don't throw your own shit on the fan.
Yeah, I know. I just.
You know what? She's taking them out. What is it in Yellowstone?
Any publicity is good publicity, though. Come on.
Railroad station where they dump all
the
the
train
bodies?
station. They took the dog to the train station. That's how you go. Well, you know what? The famous economist Milton Friedman said, "Where will we find these angels to run our government?" Right, John Jacob? I mean, it's like it's a great system till we add people. So, it's we all fall short. We all fall short.
Well, I think this was the record breaker.
Yep, it is.
Cheers.
Wow, that's a good one. I figured it'd be that long, but it's half of it's our fault. We kept on schedule during the show. So, okay, I'm getting ready to get to the ending here. I actually got a new ending. It's got the spring at Chateau de Marcel, but I haven't incorporated it into our regular ending yet. So, but hey, everybody, thanks for coming on. Thanks, John Jacob. Good luck. And you three clowns on top there. It was great seeing you again. I'll see you next week at 8:58, 2 minutes before the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Have a good evening.
See you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.